Hey there, the YouTube gang or YouTube followers, check it out. Working on the Capri. Uh, Last time we got it started, it ran. Now I'm gonna start working on the rust. Look at that. It look like this bubbles right here. And sometimes, half the time on older cars, you can like sand these bubbles and it'll still be pretty dense metal. But in this case, it kind of got eaten up real quick. I used a flapper disc. It was a new flapper disc, so it's a lot more grit than if it was worn down. But I'm pretty much going to do everywhere where there's bubbles. Right here, I'm going to cut a piece from here to there. Maybe a little bit thicker than the original metal. Not much thicker, just because I had the sheet metal that I have. It's not the thickest, but it's not, maybe 14 gauge or a little bit thinner. I'm not too sure. 16 gauge. Also right here, some bondo was cracking. I guess right here I had some body work done at one point. You can see some bondo here too. Eventually I'll get to that. But I took off all that cracking of the bondo, and you could still see it was like, you could almost like peel it. So I took off all the way to a point where it didn't peel, and I left it rough like this. You see how there's this big old chunks missing? Honestly, it's a lot easier if you leave it like that, because if you smooth it out, then you add the bondo goes smooth, and it doesn't build up. When you want to lay in there, you got to build up and cover. Try to have more coverage. You could always sand it down, and that's the reason why I did it like that. And another worst part about it is the roof right here. It didn't look that bad. It felt real solid, but I went with the flapper disc. You can see it's like a brand new flapper disc. It ate that metal pretty bad, real bad. So I'm also going to cut a section probably from here, cut it right here, from here to here, and then I'm going to bend it so it can go underneath here. And then I'm going to maybe try to take this off if I can repair it right and fix that issue right here for I don't have no more rust. There is a little dent here on the roof. Kind of sucks that it is here, but it looks like some guy was going real fast and he grabbed it because he was scared. No, just kidding. But yeah, I'm gonna have to take the headliner off for that. You can see it. It's roach. This car's a roach. I'm gonna have to bang the door. If you look at it right here, it's kind of pressed in. There's like a bend here, so I'm gonna have to. I forgot what it's called. It's like a piece of solid metal you put on the back and you tap it with the hammer to give it a shape. I'm gonna have to do that on there. Then the door kind of has a little bend sticking out. It's also because the gasket's not on there, and also maybe the bushing. Actually, the bushing here is good. Sometimes right here it gets worn out. You gotta adjust stuff. So there's that. It closes pretty nice, but it does have a little stick out. I am gonna have to do some alignment. You can see where it's kind of pushed in here. So the door itself needs to be broken loose from the bottom hinges and then pried out a little bit. And I think just doing that would solve my issue. Maybe that, and then also maybe adjusting the fender to line up the body line. You can see right here it's pretty tight, and normally it's not that tight. Luckily this car was never in a wreck. That happened probably in transportation or in storage, moving cars around. Probably someone backed it up and knocked the thing out, or whatever the case is. Also, I'm gonna have to do some fiberglass repair on the hood scoop. This is real easy. Also, I'll go with the flapper disc, take it off, put some new fiberglass. Here we go on the first cut. I'm gonna leave as much as meat on this side if I could, and right here I'm gonna try to get as close. And you'll see right now when I do it, I'm gonna use some tape to mask it, so it could be easier for me when I decide to do the cut. Give me a sec. Alright, I went a little bit more. I wasn't gonna get real tight here, but it looked like the metal's thinning down because there's rust buildup inside. So I'm gonna do my cut and then maybe vacuum all that stuff outside, blow as much as it out, and then repair it. Give me a sec, I'll do the cut. Okay, I'm gonna explain. You see how I cut it? I didn't cut it all the way. If I need to, I could go a little bit deeper, but I didn't want deep because inside here is technically it's like a subframe from the hood. And this is gonna be good ground to weld to, so I could drill some holes actually on the metal and weld it so it won't pry up or flex when I do the welding, to all the butt welding, so I could it won't warp on me. I could do some tack welds here on the sub. You can see I didn't cut it all the way through because I'm just gonna pry it out with this little screwdriver here, this little tiny one. And whatever I need to do with the cutting wheel, I'll go back with the cutting wheel and give it a nicer clean cut. Like after this, I am gonna go with the cutting wheel and give it a nice sharper edge. Just showing you what I'm doing. You know, some people might wear the gloves, but I don't got gloves. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a little vice grip or something like that and grab them, go back and forth, and it'll come right off. So you can see the frame itself has rust. I'm gonna go with the wire brush, vacuum, and clean it all up. And there's still this much right here, this much of the hood. So the hood's gonna keep it straight. It's gonna be nice and flush when I'm done with it. This part now it's gonna be kind of concerning because the other spot had bubbles. Who knows, these bubbles are gonna go all the way through. Oh, it did. It went all the way through. So I am gonna need lots of repairing. This is nasty rust too. It's kind of a shame seeing that rust go through that easy, you know. But these are thinner metals. These are from well, it's an 80s car, but you know, kind of like a 90s car. These Mustangs, foxbodies, Monte Carlos, Super Sports, you know, all those type of cars in that era. These cars really have subframe damage all the time. These cars have quarter panel replacements, rust issue, seams. If you look real good, right here's an actual seam. Normally they put they butt it together and they add some lead here and they seam it. Factory, there's a seam here, like on the roof, and then right here there's another seam. You can see where the bubbles are kind of right here. Hopefully that's just an easy primer part. But anyway, the subframe, you can see here, this metal here is solid, but just right here. So found what's solid. I'm gonna go right here because right here it's all good metal. Just right here was really bad. It's getting roached. So I'm gonna do a clean cut here, there. I have an attempt to try to take this off. I might just tape it and void this, and then take it off if it's necessary. If this part here is roach, which doesn't feel too bad. Looks like it just started to begin, and it's just about underneath the paint. So this part's still solid, but I am gonna cut a little piece and then have a bend on the little piece, and then put that bend inside here, and then I'm gonna cut this bend right here off, so it'll be flat, and then I'll put a new piece and then weld around here and then feather it to be the shape of here. Then I'm gonna cut that. So we'll see right now. I'm gonna cut it. All right, we got some of it out. Oh, look at all that rust in here. If I wouldn't have taken care of this, you know, some person would have probably put bondo. See all this rust? You're not supposed to have that in your car. The best thing to do is try to get as much of this out quick and possible, and fish in there, you know. Don't just stop, keep on fishing. I'm also going to put some rust protectant sealant in here. I might even repair the subframe. I might put a piece of metal in here and weld that on the inner frame right here. But alright, you can get the gist what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting all the pieces so I could do all my welds at once. That's what I kind of want to do. I want to do all my welds one time. So alright, so you get the gist. You know, this part's just easy to come off. This little flaps right here. You just bend them back and forth. They'll come off by themselves. A needle nose would do it. But yeah, this metal itself is actually good here in the bottom. So I could actually cut it flush from here to here. And I could just weld the piece that I need. So there's that. You can see it's looking worse and worse, but the car has its age. Also, I have this piece of metal here. I forgot what gauge it is. Just a piece of scrap metal. I could just cut some pieces and slap them in there. I might start flapping this. We'll see what comes out right here. Let's flapper disc it, and we'll see exactly what pops out right now. Just a little bit more of progress is coming out. I'm gonna have to repair the inside here. I'll put a piece of metal and give it some solid welds. I poked it. This metal's still kind of good, but it's gonna go bad. But what I'm gonna do is try to take as much rust as possible. Spray, filling it all in with the primer, rust protectant, and then also cut out the little pieces. Right now, I'm also gonna start doing all this right here. I'm gonna start flapping it. We'll see. Maybe I could do it. Alright, it's not as bad as I thought. This piece here, I'm gonna do a bend piece. Hopefully get the right angle for it, and maybe cut here, go all the way across from to here, and just repair this whole section. Then right here, the top is good, so I'm just gonna cut from this line and then repair it from this section to here, even up to here. And there's a little bit of bubbling. I really don't want to go through the metal, down to the metal at the moment, unless the underneath of the hood says so. Right now, I need like 2 people to open the hood because one of the click or something is like messed up, or the spring. So I gotta work on that too. I'm gonna start getting these pieces ready. I might as well do this first, take care of these first, and then I'll jump on here, because right here I'm gonna have to bend pieces of metal. You can see this metal's already kind of okie doke. Another little update. You can see this metal here is kind of thin too, so I'm also gonna go a little bit further and cut a little bit more, not too much, and then this side's ready to have a little piece of metal in here. I'm gonna shape it, put it, and then kind of give it a curve, not too much, because it's very thing. Like I could calculate the curvature and replicate the curvature, but I'm just gonna do it by eye, and then also the heat will kind of warp it to the shape. It's not gonna mess up anything. It's just gonna be on here, and I'm gonna do, like I said, drill some holes, maybe like 3 holes here, put it on here, weld, put it on there, weld, and and 4-tack it as well. And like I said, I'm gonna do that in a little bit. Here you go. I cleaned it up pretty good, the best I could, what I could get in there. Vacuum it, whatever. Now I'm just gonna throw some primer, shove it in there. I'll show you that right now. I switched hands. What I'm gonna do here, besides getting the coverage, I'm gonna try to go in the crevices. You want to go inside the crevices. Even if it's nice and runny, it's okay, because all it is just protecting the metal from the future. Alright, well, I added a boatload. I probably really don't have to add that much. I added too much. But I'm going to let that dry. Then I'm going to clean the surfaces where I'm going to weld. Like here. Or I could just do it now. Here. Here. I'm going to let that dry. Now I'm going to start repairing this inside. I made this piece. You see how it goes in here? And then there's a bend. Or look, now it goes in here. There's a bend in here and then a bend out here. Here's my piece. I just gotta flatten this out. Kind of got warped right here, but pretty much it goes in here like that. And it'll go in here. It's the right angle and everything. All I have to do is take off this plastic so I can stick it in like this. Kind of thing, you know. Well, you get the idea. I can't do it because there's also this piece that goes here. But once I take off this cover, I'll be able to go in there. Just made that bend because I am going to replace this. There was a little hole right here and here. So I'm going to cut all that out and then put this piece in its replacement. Yeah. The primer don't have to be fully dry as long as it's good enough because it's welded up. I'm just gonna add some kitty hair in these little crevices type because I don't want rust to come or water get in there. So that's gonna help. After that, we'll put some bondo. I'm gonna mix this up real quick. All right, I'm gonna give a little bit of this here. Should have put some tape. You don't want to get this shit everywhere. Alright, well there's that, and then I'm gonna put bondo right after that. I'm just gonna sand it up with some bondo. Hopefully it dries within a couple of minutes. If not, I'll do a second video. I'm gonna pause it. Well, I guess it's gonna take a while till it dries. It's kind of sticky still, so I'm gonna let it dry. We'll do another video following up when I lay down the bondo, maybe, or should I do a video after I lay down the bondo and sand it? I might just do that when I lay it out and sand it when I'm about to primer it. You can see all I have to do now is add a little bit of bondo to even up